Hey everybody, snow is gone. Spring is here. Still a little chilly at night, but days are nice for the end of March and almost beginning of April here in the Lehigh Valley. But anyway, last night I had the privilege to, and I say privilege because it really was, to attend a Youth Against Violence event and hosted and by author and Allentown City Council candidate, among other credentials and accomplishments, Eugene McDuffie. Now, the reason why I say this was a privilege is uh, I'm a survivor of violent crime in Fayetteville, North Carolina. All right. No, I'm not going into details and bore the hell out of you about it. But so standing against things like violence, domestic violence, I've lived on the street, homelessness, um, that is to the core of what I believe. That goes to the core of who I am and what I believe, honestly. And also, it's a part of, I carried over into the magazine. We're trying to make a difference in our world. Now, normally with events, I pop few quick video clips to, try to give you a really good feel for it. Well, outside of the escape dancers, this was one of those rare exceptions because after the dancers, you had speakers, all right? And this wasn't your traditional lecture style classroom, at some point going to bore the hell out of you and zone out type speakers, all right? Including Eugene, this was young people, young adults, and I don't like to use the term kids in most cases, or children. This was young adults and adults standing up in front of people that a lot of them they didn't know or had never met before that night, and telling their stories about drug addiction, about living on the street, what it's really like from actually living it. You know, in different areas, including Philadelphia, about growing up with parents who were alcoholics, drug addicts, violent, very at times very violent abusers, and those stories are not mine or any person unless it is in a specific interview. Those stories are not mine or any member of the media, not ours to tell. So the video is missing, and it was out of respect for the people that who did this. Because I'll tell you what, to stand up there and tell your story in front of people that you just met or you never knew, that falls under the small category of having more courage than a lot of us do. To get up in front of the room and possibly reopen old wounds and relive old memories. That takes true dedication and courage, you know? And some of the adults that did this, one actually surprised me. Because if you meet him, you would never have guessed. But anyway, um, Eugene, you had Josh Siegel, who was a speaker, Allentown City Council mayor candidate. Um, Basilio Bonilla is running for county commissioner. You know, you had a young adult who got up there, and this was, I believe, the first time he was telling his story. Broke down several times while he was trying to speak in tears. This was a young adult who was getting up there and saying, "Hey, look, this is what happened to me. This is what I went through." And no, I'm not going to release his name. Um, it's just to get unfor- unfortunately though, we live in a world where through media and now social media that we have become immune, numb, and almost dead to everything that happens in our world. You know, we see, oh wow, somebody, a kid was raped. Okay, it's a big deal for what? Maybe 10 minutes. You don't hear about it again. The media moves on to the next story. Social media, finds something else. You hear about, you know, a police officer that was gunned down by a drug addict, a gang member, or whatever. Lucky for me, the only way it'll make the major media is if you happen to have, one of the major one of the major media sources in your town or city. And even and at looking at it as a journalist and staying neutral and keeping the emotion out of it, which is what I'm supposed to do. I was listening to these stories and it's like these are people telling their life stories. This wasn't made up, this wasn't scripted, edited, reality TV bullshit. Waste of time bullshit. All right. This was real, raw. And and then I thought about it. I actually spoke to Joshua about it, and I was saying, even things like this really don't have the impact anymore. And it's scary in our world how I was born in 1971, okay? And things like this will wake you up in a different aspect, events like this, and wake you up in the aspect of how many people beyond this room will stop to even think twice about their stories. How many people outside of this room, outside of people that they know, or people who have been through something similar, will say, you know what, this can't happen anymore. This has to stop. And that's what honestly scares me and should scare you. How events like this, where you have people going up on stage in front of a group of people that they don't know, most of them they don't know, telling their life stories, reliving the pain. You can see it in their eyes, their tears, their voice, their movements, opening old wounds, reliving the pain, the true pain. Okay, gets popped up on the media. All right, well that won't happen to me. That didn't happen to me, or well, you know what? It happens to a lot of people. Nothing I can do about it. Through my magazine, through its predecessor, Valley and Beyond, I started this. I try to make a difference in this world. I'm one human being who bounces between living in a hotel and crashing at a bus stop and pulling all-nighters at a diner, between McDonald's and a diner at times. I'm one person, and I would still try. I didn't need that to wake me up to the reality of things. But what is it going to take to wake you up? What is it going to take to have you say, you know what? I saw this, you know, NBC posted this article on Facebook, you know, about a kid who was shot. All right, I'm living on the East Coast, happened on the West Coast, but kid was shot and killed. You know what? It could easily happen here. What can I do to help stop this? What can I do to help stop the drugs, help stop the violence, stop the sexual abuse, stop the murder, the pointless murder and death? If you have children, all you gotta do is look at them for the best reason in the world to try to make a difference. And if you don't, look at your friends, look at your family, look at your own life. There's another Youth Against Violence coming up at Sugar Hill Jazz House. Magazine will be there again. Even if you can't do it financially, and I know everyone's tight on time in this world we live in, whether it's a single person's life, whether it's a community, city, state, country, or global, try to leave something behind for when you're gone, for people to say, you know what, we remember them for the best reasons in the world. As always, to the financial sponsors, thank you so much. Without you, never would have made it this far. To the people who support the magazine in other ways, and to the people who view who view the magazine, the pages, the articles, etc., thank you so much. Without you, it'd be a waste of time. Take care, everybody. Stop and remember, every once in a while, take some time out. Remember what life is really about and what the whole point is. Love your family, love your friends, your kids, because you never know what can happen in the next moment.